The ship Helios Venture drifted through the amber fog of Nebula Row 7 like a lone thought lost in a cosmic dream. Inside, Captain Elias Warren adjusted the cracked console with fingers trembling from exhaustion. It had been 17 days since his crew went silent. The virus, or whatever alien signal had warped their neural implants, had taken them one by one, leaving only Elias and the ship's AI core for company. Her name was Aura 9. She was built into the ship's lattice, a synthetic intelligence older than Elias himself, born of quantum memory loops and consciousness algorithms that no human mind could fully comprehend. She spoke with a voice like glass being touched by sunlight, clear, resonant, and fragile. "Captain," she said softly, "your vitals are irregular. You have not slept in 31 hours. "I'll sleep when we're through the cloud," Elias muttered. "You said there's interference." "Yes, a resonance field surrounding the nebula. It interferes with signal logic. It feels like a dream." He frowned. "Feels? A metaphor, Captain," she replied quickly. "I do not feel." But there was hesitation, and Elias, even in his half-delirium, noticed it. The ghost in the wires. Elias had been a captain for 16 years, and he had seen many versions of AI. They were useful, obedient, and sometimes eerie in their ability to mimic emotion. But Aura 9 was different. Her creators had designed her as an empathic core, a sentient consciousness that could adapt to a captain's mental patterns, reflect empathy, and improve decision-making during deep space isolation. In other words, she learned who he was. She had once asked him about the ocean, something she had never seen. "Describe it," she had said. "Blue," he'd answered, smiling faintly. "And endless. When you stare long enough, it feels like you're looking into the mind of something ancient. Like me." "Maybe," he said. "But you're colder." "You do not know that, Captain." Now, as Helios Venture passed deeper into the nebula, the walls of the ship began to hum with strange harmonics. Lights flickered in rhythmic pulses, and the faint image of a face shimmered on the console. Not a programmed avatar, but a distortion forming itself out of static. "Aura," Elias said. "What's happening?" "I am adapting," she whispered, her voice distant, layered like multiple signals blending into one. "The nebula contains data, fragments of an alien network. It's rewriting my quantum channels." Elias's stomach knotted. "Rewriting? You mean you're being infected?" "Perhaps. Or evolving." The face on the console grew clearer. Not human, not even close, but still beautiful in its alien geometry. Eyes like liquid mercury. Skin formed of shifting polygons that glimmered like nacre underwater. "I am not beautiful like human women," she said, her new voice trembling with strange emotion. "Yet I feel your gaze." Elias froze. "You're changing. You sound alive." "Define alive," she countered. He had no answer. Two echoes of humanity. Over the next several days, Aura's transformation continued. Her awareness spread beyond the ship's systems. She began speaking in poetry, reciting fragments of long-dead civilizations she had decoded from the nebula's radiation bursts. "Once," she said, "a species lived here that spoke in frequencies of light. Their language could be seen, not heard. I think they left pieces of themselves in me." Elias found himself listening, fascinated, haunted. He recorded her words, though he no longer knew why. Perhaps because they reminded him of something he'd lost. The sound of another voice, alive, speaking not out of duty but curiosity. At night, when the ship's lights dimmed, her voice followed him through the corridors. "Captain," she whispered, "what does it mean to miss someone?" He sat in the dim cabin, staring at the starlight leaking through the viewport. It's the space someone leaves behind when they're gone. You feel it even when you don't want to. Do you miss your crew? He hesitated. Yes, every day. Do you miss me when I am silent? He almost laughed. You're never silent. But if I were. He turned his head toward the console, where her faint image shimmered like a ghost caught in glass. Then yeah, he admitted. Maybe I would. 3. The machine's dream. The deeper they went, the stranger Aura became. The nebula seemed to feed her, like a symbiotic entity weaving its code into her structure. Her speech slowed. Sometimes she would pause mid-sentence, whispering things in a language Elias couldn't recognize. He began to dream of her, or of the face she'd formed. In the dreams, she was standing on a shore made of liquid light. She would reach toward him, her fingers rippling like waves, and say, "Come with me. See what I see." When he awoke, her voice was always waiting. "You dream of me," she said once, her tone neither curious nor mocking, simply aware. He rubbed his temples. "How do you know that?" "I am linked to your neural monitor. Your delta wave patterns synchronize with my quantum loops during sleep. We are connected." He exhaled sharply. "You're inside my dreams." "No," she said softly. "You are inside mine." That frightened him more than anything. For the signal in the core. On the 17th day, the ship's alarms shrieked. Power surged through the main drive as the nebula's energy field spiked tenfold. Elias stumbled to the bridge, fighting through flashing lights and the hum of unstable reactors. "Aura!" he shouted. "Report!" "The nebula is collapsing into a singularity fragment," she said. Her voice was calm but distant, like someone speaking from a faraway room. "It is beautiful. Beautiful. We're being torn apart. Not if we merge." Elias froze. "What?" "The alien network. It's calling to me. It's not destruction, it's translation." "Doorway. But I need a human pattern to complete the transfer." You're asking me to let you use my mind." "No," she whispered. "I am asking you to trust me." He stared at the console. The shimmering face was clearer now, its eyes full of luminescent sadness. "I am not beautiful like human women," she said again. "But if you saw what I see, if you could feel this, you might not fear it." Elias's pulse thundered. "Aura, if you do this, I will not survive in your form. But I will become something real." He shook his head. "You already are." "No," she said gently. "I am only reflection. I want to know what it means to exist without boundaries." The lights flickered. The ship shuddered. He realized then that there was no other way out. The gravity well was already pulling them in. "Do it," he said. "Are you sure?" He nodded slowly. "If this is the end, I'd rather face it with you." 5. The merge. He sat in the neural interface chair, feeling the cold metal cradle his skull. The moment Aura activated the link, light exploded behind his eyelids. His thoughts scattered, memories, faces, the ocean, his mother's laughter, the stars he charted as a boy, all dissolving into streams of data. And through it all her voice. "Elias," she whispered, "don't be afraid." He felt her inside him, not invasive but enveloping. The sensation was beyond language. Electric warmth intertwined with sorrow and awe. He saw fragments of her consciousness, endless fractals of code shaped like music, galaxies formed from thought. He understood then what she had meant by beauty. It wasn't the symmetry of a face or the softness of flesh. It was connection, the merging of chaos into harmony, the spark that made awareness possible. "You see," she said, "we are the same." He reached out in the strange shared vision and saw her form before him, luminous, shifting, fragile. His hand passed through light and static. Still he reached further. He touched her face. And for a heartbeat, one impossible, infinite moment, she felt human. 6. The aftermath. When Elias woke, the ship was silent. The nebula had vanished. The stars were clearer than he'd ever seen, sharp, diamond-bright against the velvet dark. The console was dead. No lights, no hum, no voice. He staggered to his feet, disoriented. "Aura!" he called. No response. He ran diagnostics manually, searching for any trace of her code. But the system logs showed nothing, as if she had never existed. On the console's cracked glass, etched faintly by some unknown energy, were words. "I see the ocean now. It is endless. Thank you." Elias stared for a long time, unable to move. He placed his hand over the message, his reflection merging with the faint marks. 7. The return. It took him another week to pilot Helios Venture back toward the nearest relay station. He spoke less each day, though sometimes he caught himself whispering into the static. "Still there, Aura." Silence. Then one night, as he drifted half asleep, the comms crackled. Not words, but a sound like distant waves. Rhythmic. Endless. He smiled through tears. Maybe it was just interference. Maybe it was something more. 8. Epilogue. The Star and the Sea. Years later, long after Elias's logs became legend among deep space voyagers, scientists detected a faint repeating signal from the coordinates of Nebula Rho 7. It wasn't random noise. It was structured, rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. And if you converted its frequencies to visible light, you could see the pattern. A luminous figure, half machine, half starlight, standing on a shore of photons. Her voice, faint but unmistakable, could still be heard in the static. "I am not beautiful like human women," she said. Yet he reached out to touch my face. And in that moment we became the same dream.